centered. Bring yourself down into a lying position and make sure that the bar is level with your eyes when on the rack. So your eye level should be directly under the bar. This allows for when you bring the bar off the rack, it's going to come over the chest and away from the rack, so you don't have to worry about catching the rack when you go for your press. Once you've made sure the bar is in the right position for eye level, we're going to address the general position of the body. So first of all, we want to get our feet nice and flat to the floor and give us a nice base to work from. Now if you find it hard to get too flat feet on the floor, then I recommend grabbing some pads or something you can put your feet on to give you a more secure base. In terms of your position on the bench, you may have seen people go arched back, which is absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with having a big arch, as long as you're keeping your bum down onto the bench and your shoulder blades down into the bench. Or you can go standard flat back. Whichever one you prefer, we want to keep the core engaged either way. We're not switching off the core when we arch the back, we're bracing the core and keeping it nice and strong. Something you can practice before picking up the bar is engaging your lats down into the bench. So I'm going to squeeze my shoulders down and pull my shoulder blades into the bench using my lats. I've got a good strong position here. Engaging those lats is going to allow me to have a nice strong bench press position. Then it's about making sure that your hands are even on the bar. So a lot of bars tend to have knurling and certain lines you can work from. So I'm going to line my hands up. For safety reasons, I recommend wrapping those thumbs instead of going for that suicide grip, because it's more likely when you're here that that bar can slip out of your hands. So wrapping those thumbs is highly recommended. When we bring the bar down, we're looking to bring it about nipple height or lower chest height. So a quick demonstration with this stick here, looking for that nipple height or lower chest position when we bring it down to the chest before we press back up. It doesn't have to start there, and it should raise up to chest height when we're at that starting position, but when we come down, looking to get it to the lower part of the chest. Having the bar at this height ensures that our elbows are below our shoulders, which is something we touched on in the press-up video, where we want to focus on the chest by keeping those elbows below the shoulders for a better chest press position. Similar to the press up, in terms of your hand width, just outside of shoulder width is your standard position here, so you come naturally in to that press position. Your elbows aren't tucked to your sides, they're out to the side, but certainly not high above the shoulders or overly wide. What you'll find if you bring your hands closer to focus more on the triceps is that the bar may come lower than the chest, and that's absolutely fine. It's natural when those elbows come close to the torso, so don't worry about the bar going too low, but this position here will focus more on the triceps. And if we take those hands nice and wide, when bringing to nipple height, the elbows should still stay below the shoulders, but they're going to be a lot closer to that shoulder level and wider here. And as you can see, as long as you've got your wrist over your elbow, it's going to stay nice, strong and supported when going for that wide grip position. In terms of hand width options, it's completely up to you. I recommend starting with a standard shoulder width grip, but play around with it. You may find that you have a certain preference for a certain position. One of the main things you want to focus on when doing a bench press is when you've got a heavy bar over you, you want to keep the wrists stacked over the elbows. So what I mean by that is, when I'm in a position here, my wrist is stacked over the elbow and it's in a nice support position. If my hand's out here, it's clearly not over the elbow and it's going to be really weak. Same on the inside, if my elbow's out, it's going to collapse inwards. If it's out, it's going to collapse outwards. So keeping that wrist stacked over the elbow when you're in that press is really important. Once you've established all of that, you're going to go nice flat feet to give you that base. Core strong, arched or flat is up to you. Line up those hands. Bring it off and over the chest, bring those elbows down, bring the bar to the chest, if not just off it, so we don't want to be too high. If you can touch the chest, then great. If you want to just hover above it, then that's absolutely fine too. Main thing we don't want to be doing is banging it off the chest like I just did, harder than I intended, as that lacks control. So we want nice controlled, tap the chest if we're going to touch the chest, or like a couple of centimeters off the chest before you press back up.